the surgeons were bitching. The ones the guys were already using, like, I don't care. And this is the other group. We don't care. But our group was like, we don't use this stuff, man. It's stuff we don't even know how to use. It's gonna,
right. You're not adapted to it.
You're not adapting. You're going to compromise patient care a little bit for this. So, this is one of those things where I was very vocal against this. I was like, man, I don't, this is BS. This is what we're trained on. We're gonna end up, there's going to be patients that are going to be problematic from this stuff. So that was an aside thing. And then there was a system where, it's another thing, they put in this is one thing that all physicians hate. It's a thing called an electronic medical record. It's a computer-based record. Not that it's a computer-based thing, but they're awful. I mean, they sit there, and their main function is to collect billing and to do coding. So it's to capture as much information as you can so you can bill more, right? That's why hospitals like them. So they put this on you, and it's like, it's like really hard to take, to put good information there, because all it is generate a bunch of data that's totally illegible. You look at it, it's like you get 20 pages of BS and two paragraphs of stuff you need, right?
So where did it all go bad?
So basically what happened is when I started telling people, I don't want to, I started talking people out of surgery, right? I started saying, I don't think you need surgery. And then I started talking to the administrators and say, hey guys, I really want to spend a day a week just doing lifestyle counseling. I don't want to, constantly do this, because I think this can work really
constantly, well. You're making the cutting motion, like constantly
surgery. Right. And so they basically said, no, there's no appetite for that. Your skill as a surgeon, we want you there. In other words, keep making us a lot of money, right?
Right.
So I'm like, and my nurse will tell you, I was printing out, I made a list of all this reading. You remember, like Gary, I know you had Gary Thompson, I had his book, and I had Anita Tykos' book on, and I had this guy named Butter Bob Riggs, all these ketogenic things, references, and I was handing them out 20, 25 of those every single day, and I was spending time with the patients, because normally you'd only get like eight minutes to see a patient, figure out the problem, figure out a plan, go. And I was like, now I'm spending 20 minutes talking to these guys about diet. And so, then I'm seeing less patients, and the hospital keeps saying, we don't really like that. So, because I was ahead of the group, and I was well liked by everybody, I had really good patient records, really good patient satisfaction, really low complication rates. They were like, well, we don't like that. So then there's something called peer review, right? So they can just pull your records and say, we don't like the way you did this, and we're gonna criticize your work. And so they did that, and they went through there, and this is one of the things they said, well, every surgeon will have X amount of complications, right? It's like, if you do 100 surgeries, about 5% of the time there's going to be some complications. Somebody's going to get an infection, somebody's going to bleed too much, somebody's going to get a blood clot. If it's an orthopedic surgeon, maybe one of the screws you put in breaks or something. Those things are all complications. That happens to everybody, no matter what. So what they said is there's a low threshold, right? There's like we're going to say every year we're going to give you 2 complications that were your fault, right? Because most of the time you have a complication. It's like, man, there's nothing I could have done
equipment failure.
Or they'll say you made the wrong decision, that led to a complication. So they'll say you can get 2 a year, right? And it doesn't matter if you do 100 surgeries a year or you do 500 surgeries a year. The number's still 2, right? And I'm like, because I was there for like 5 years, and like every year was like 1, just nothing, minimal, right? One year they go back and say, oh, you had 3 this year. I'm like, yeah, but I did 5 times as many surgeries as anybody else. And they said, well, it doesn't matter. We're gonna still put you through peer review. So what they do is they hire. Remember this other group that I was pissing off, that I was taking $10 million a year from? They hire that guy, to look through my stuff.
Why would they do that?
Because that's what they wanted to do.
But why would they do that if that person on that other side is the competition?
Because he was in the position to do it, right?
Okay.
So, and that's not supposed to happen. It'd be like if you were a Bellator guy and you said, I want the Bellator guy to review the UFC, right? I think Joe Rogan sucks as an announcer. I'm going to have a Bellator guy go after him, right? So it's total conflict of interest, right? So I'm like this naive, ethical guy that's like, well, I know I had good care and patients were doing fine. And then,